This is the SolidWorks 2011 introduction to the interface. What I decided to do was to take an existing model and move through the creation of that model, as well as introduce you to the features that it took to create that model. What we're looking at here is an initial sketch of what is called the control bracket. You notice this is a 2D sketch, but we are in a 3D world. I'm using the mouse to rotate this around. It's pushing the roller to rotate this around to see it. I can roll that roller to zoom. If I hold the control key down and push the roller like a button, I can also pan. This is a parametric modeler, so when I draw a shape, I can just create that shape and then select the dimensions on. The dimensions control the size of the line or the feature that's being changed. That works with angles as well. To create the sketch, the line tool was used. The sketch was drawn based on the origin. Once the sketch was created, the dimensions from this point here were added, and then the values added to those dimensions to control the size of the part. Then up here, this is the command manager, and in the command manager there are some tabs that change the tools that you're going to make use of. To get into adding volume to this sketch that I created, I go into the Features tab in the Command Manager, and an extrusion was created, as you can notice here in the tree. The value of 64 was input for that volume, and a mid-plane extrusion was created. And you can see that the sketch was extruded in both directions, 64 millimeters. I'll keep moving down this. This is a nice feature here in SolidWorks, is this feature manager. This gives you the ability to go back in time to make repairs. Now we needed this curvature here, back in the sketch tool. A sketch was created of just a simple circle. When you need to draw something, you have to select a face, select a plane or a surface to start a sketch on. In this case, this surface was selected to start the sketch. And then this circle was drawn making use of the width of the extrusion. You'll notice there's no dimensions because this circle is controlled by the width of this feature right here. Then it was extruded, and this kind of extrusion was up to surface, so it was extruded up to this peak surface right here. If the model thickness changes because of this up to surface, then this extrusion will change with it. This is the sketch of this feature here that was done on the front plane as well, with the controlling dimensions, and then a mid-plane extrusion again as well of that to give the volume. It's a rather simple way of creating models. I find it myself much easier than working in the 2D world. Then this was the sketch that was used to create the feature here. Again, you can see that the circle is controlled by the width of this extrusion. And then it was they call this a blind extrusion, or allows you to input the length. The same thing was done here on the other side. Then we needed to punch a hole through this, so this is a little bit different. A sketch was created here. There's two ways to create holes. You can either use the hole wizard, which is right here, and usually you can get some very interesting types of holes here, like counterbores and countersinks, where its sizes are all within this hole wizard. It's just as easy sometimes to select a face, start a sketch, and draw a circle and cut this hole. So we have this 19 diameter circle that is centered at the same location as this larger feature here. Then we did an extrude cut, which is here, and did a blind extrusion, making sure that it went through far enough to cut through both features. Now we'll make use of the hole wizard. We had a counterbore that goes through this. So with the hole wizard, we aren't drawing sketches. We make use of its intelligence to create this. We'll edit the feature of this so we can see how this is created. You can go in here and select the type of cut, the hole type that you would like. It has all the settings that you need. You can get metric or inch features, and you can set those all up. You can manually make adjustments to those as well, and then have it cut through a specific way. To get it positioned, we go over here to this tab, and then we have this point that is acting as the center of this feature. And we made sure that the point was concentric with this arc. And then it puts in your counterbore. We have this feature here that needed to be cut through. We made use of this face here to start the sketch on that was going to cut all the way through. Here we've got a situation where you notice that there are no dimensions between the center line and the right side. This is because there is a symmetrical relationship between these two lines and the center line. So no matter what value you put in here, this piece, it stays centered. Then an extrude cut was done through the feature there. This feature, the sketch was done on this face here. Same setup with a symmetrical relationship between the two sides of this cut, and then the extrusion through the feature. We had a couple of holes that needed to be punched through this. You'll notice that I have a sketch sitting out in the middle of the air. This is legal because I started this sketch on this face to cut those holes, and that works just fine. You'll notice that these sketches are black. If something is missing and the sketch isn't defined, you'll notice that the sketch is blue. And down here it will say underdefined. So you want to make sure that your sketches are black, fully defined. Then we did this cut extrusion through his faces here. Then we went through and added all the fillets to the feature all around here using the fillet tool here in the features tab. Another option that you can use, you can do different kinds of fillets, face fillet, edge fillets, and then put your values in. And last of all, I needed to add an additional plane here to make a cut. So we created a plane that we could work from, and then did our final cut of these penetrating holes here into the tops of these pieces. That sketch with those little circles was created down here on that plane, and then an extrude cut was created to go up and through the part. And you'll notice here that I had moved this down. This is the completed part. This is when I was talking about the history. You can move back in time to make edits and changes if things got out of whack. And so you can repair quickly, easily. It's a very, very, very nice feature of this 3D modeling package. Up here in this toolbar right here, this is called the heads-up view toolbar. So it has a lot of zooming and lots of different things. Here we can show axes. You'll notice that there's these little blue lines here showing the axis of the features. So there's lots of options you can choose from. You can change the appearance. You can look at specific faces, specific planes. We can make this hidden so we can see it in a hidden state. This is the task pane over here where you can go and get features out of what's called the toolbox and other information to make use and use in your model. Up here in this toolbar up here, there's a couple of features that become very important. This right here is you make changes to the model, you do a rebuild. This rebuild will even update the drawing that is created from this feature. Here is your settings box, the options dialog box. You can set a lot of different settings in here. This takes a while to learn and understand where everything's at. And that ends the introduction to SolidWorks interface.